Okay, for today's review, we are going to review the Safari Ltd Qianzhousaurus. Um, this is a dinosaur that I've had a little bit of pronunciation issues with. At one time, I believe I was pronouncing it completely wrong. I was pronouncing it more with the actual Q and with the H. But from what I've seen more, I think it's pronounced more like Qianzhousaurus. So, and I still could be wrong though, but from what I've seen, that's what it appears to be pronounced. So that's what I'm going to go the rest of this video saying, but I could be wrong. And this is the second of 5 reviews from that Safari order I made a little bit ago. The main reason I made that order was to get the Albertosaurus, but this was a really awesome addition as well. I already did review that Albertosaurus, and I'll put a link to that video and the link to the lot that I got this figure with, and I should review all those figures at some point. And first, we're going to get into one of my favorite parts of reviewing figures, and that is just general information about this dinosaur. Qianzhousaurus was discovered in the Nanchang Formation in China, meaning it lived with Corythoraptor. And this figure is not a Corythoraptor, but it is a blue oviraptor, and the Corythoraptor in the Prehistoric Planet documentary happens to be a blue oviraptorid, so I thought it worked. And it also happened to live with the Therizinosaur, Qianzhousaurus. This is the Pterobibitat figure. And Qianzhousaurus was probably the top predator in that environment. At least it appears to be off the fossils we've found in that formation so far. And Qianzhousaurus lived around 72 to 66 million years ago, and based off the current fossil evidence, this would mean it's one of the last non-avian dinosaurs, and it died during the mass extinction that wiped out all the non-avian dinosaurs. And Qianzhousaurus currently only has one species, Qianzhousaurus sinensis. And Qianzhousaurus is a Tyrannosaurinae member, meaning it is currently believed to be more closely related to Tyrannosaurus rex than to Albertosaurus. So actually, based off the current beliefs, Qianzhousaurus was more closely related to T-Rex than Albertosaurus, which is pretty cool. Because Qianzhousaurus looks more different, I believe, to T-Rex. Albertosaurus looks like more of the in-between, but Qianzhousaurus is actually more closely related to T-Rex than the other way around. And Qianzhousaurus is a member of the Alioraminae, a subgroup in Tyrannosaurinae, including itself and Alioramus. The discovery of Qianzhousaurus helped prove Alioramus was not a juvenile Tarbosaurus, and Alioraminae members are more gracile than their other Tyrannosaurinae members like Tarbosaurus and T-Rex. And that's one of the reasons why Alioramus was thought to be just a juvenile Tarbosaurus, because they're just more, they show a lot of the traits of a juvenile Tyrannosaurinae member, being more gracile, but they are separate genuses, at least currently believed to be separate genuses, especially off the discovery of Qianzhousaurus. And with Qianzhousaurus being more gracile than other Tyrannosaurinae members like T-Rex and Tarbosaurus, it probably preferred smaller, faster prey compared to larger, bulkier prey, so it probably would have preyed on stuff like Corythoraptor. And now let's just get into the figure itself. The only knock I really have on this figure is the teeth. I think it should have some bigger teeth than what is present, because it almost looks like it has no teeth at all. If it'll focus, that is. There we go. It has very small teeth, and they're barely present, especially since this figure is lipped. The teeth are super hard to see, and then they've just made the teeth even smaller than they should be. That's really the only knock I personally have on this figure. Another knock that I have heard, though, is a bunch of people aren't crazy about the color scheme, and one thing I will say, from what I've seen, this figure tends to vary a little. Some figures being a little bit more green, some figures being a little bit more orange. Mine's on the more greenish end for at least the top half. And like I said, the figure is lipped, which is a protosome and a condosome. I'm currently probably leaning more on the pro-lip side for most theropods, so I'm completely fine with the lips. And I would be completely fine if it didn't have the lips, so it's not really a pro or a knock for me. And now I'm going to mention the documentary that Qianzhousaurus kind of got introduced to me in, and that is Prehistoric Planet. And it really made me want to get a Qianzhousaurus figure. And like I said, it kind of introduced me to the figure, and I'll kind of explain how that happened. I kind of knew what it was before Prehistoric Planet, but due to Prehistoric Planet, it made me really like the dinosaur, becoming one of my favorites, and want to learn more about Qianzhousaurus, and that's why I researched more about it and knew I had to get a figure of it, and that's why I was so glad to get this Safari figure. And I actually did recently draw a Qianzhousaurus in the previous dinosaur drawings of the month, and one of the reasons why that I actually had done most of the research for this video before doing that drawing, and this video's just taken longer to get out than I wanted it to. Just stuff came up, school and stuff, but I definitely want to make this video because this is a figure I really like and definitely deserved a review. And overall, Qianzhousaurus is a really amazing dinosaur, and this is a really great representation of the dinosaur, and I would definitely recommend picking it up. And if you enjoyed this video or learned something new, a like or subscription to the channel would be greatly appreciated. And also 3 upcoming videos I will mention. So we will have the 50 subscriber special. Super excited and want to thank you all so much for getting us to 50. We're almost at 60 now, so we might actually be at 60 subscribers before the 50 subscriber special comes out, because there's 2 videos that are for sure going to come out before the 50 subscriber special. One is going to feature a marine reptile, which I'm super excited to show off, and the other is, I'll just say it, it's more Jurassic World minis, but it's Wave 2, so stay tuned for those 2 videos. And now I'm going to go over the end of this video, and that is the featured figures section, so let's just get right into it. So obviously this is the Safari Ltd Qianzhousaurus. If it is still in stock on Safari's website, I'll put a link to the figure. Oh, I forgot. I do need to do this, actually. I'm going to do the full little rotation so you all can see some multiple angles of this figure. And it does stand very well. It does tip over fairly easily, so I would be careful when putting figures around it and stuff, but just like if it's just standing straight up, you don't really have much of a risk of it falling over, but it needs to be on a flatter surface. But that's the same for pretty much all theropod figures. But this figure does stand pretty well, except if you are having to move other figures beside it, it can fall over pretty easily. And next we have the other figure I ordered with it, the Safari Ltd Albertosaurus. Then we have the Pterobibitat Qianzhousaurus, and this is the Therizzinosaurid that lived with Qianzhousaurus, which was possibly prey to Qianzhousaurus. Then we have the Safari Ltd older model of the Carnegie collection, Oviraptor. This figure does not stand very well, but it was mainly just a stand-in for the Corythoraptor, which the Qianzhousaurus eats in Prehistoric Planet. It has a lot of issues standing on its own, though. And then we have the Safari Ltd Carnegie Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is one of the versions. There's a couple different T-Rexes in the Carnegie Collection line, but this is one that I own that I really like. And yeah, that's it for all the featured figures. Thank you all so much for watching, and that's it.